I want to ask you a question. What band or album did you recently discover that really blew your mind? I discovered a couple of new bands, new albums in the past few months, but there's one that really stands out for me, and that is Magoria.
Hi, we're British Sister Flavor, and you are watching Live Prague.
Hello there, welcome to Live Prague. My name is Marcel Haster, and yes, I want to talk to you guys about Magoria. The name sounds metal, Magoria. This is truly amazing music. I am blown away when I discovered it. As you know, Prague recently came back into my life and kind of pulled me back in, and I'm really enjoying it. But it gives me a bit of a dilemma because I am looking backwards to, all the years of music I missed. A lot of amazing music was released, and I'm looking, I want to get all of it, but of course my budget is not big enough to get all that music, so I'm looking for, these real gems there. At the same time, I'm looking to what's coming out right now, because there's a lot of great music coming out as well. At the beginning of this year, there was a sale at Dutch Music Works, and I looked at the list. It's like, oh man, a lot of great music that I don't have. I want to have it, so I bought a couple of albums, and among the albums I bought, there were the two solo albums by Mark Bogert. I knew Mark Bogert, of course, because back in the day he used to play with Penny's Twisted Flavor. They released one album. He played with Night Area. They released a number of great albums. Unfortunately, Night Area called it a day, which is understandable, but at the same time a shame because that too is an amazing band. So I was listening to these solo albums and it's like, oh man, that's really good stuff. On the first album he worked with Wendy Heuvelmans. On both albums he worked with Pieter van Hoorn, Night Area drummer, on drums of course, and the bassist from Night Area, Peter Vink, on bass. And when I was looking more into what else Mark was doing, I came across this one, JTR 1888, Jack the Ripper, a rock opera. A beautiful slipcase, and there you have the CD. A beautiful double album, a rock opera based on, the mythical figure Jack the Ripper. He really existed, but there's so much we don't know about him. Well, that's enough to build a beautiful story around it, and he did. And he got an incredible cast, not only music-wise, but also vocal-wise, to bring this story. And fortunately, I could listen to this album on streaming. That's the only thing streaming is good for, to listen to music you don't have. But I quickly realized that this was so amazing that I wanted to have it on CD. I wanted to have a physical copy of the album, because no matter how convenient streaming is, artists don't make any money from it. So that's why I prefer to buy the actual CD, so the artists at least get some money for their work, and this is worth everything. I was really blown away by it because with his solo albums, I already saw that Mark Bogert was an amazing songwriter. He could really write some good songs that were very enjoyable to listen to. And then he comes up with this, and this is a 2 CD set. I believe an hour and a half. I didn't really look at the times, but an hour and a half of music. And when you start to listen to it, it is so amazing, so well written, so well executed, the whole thing. I gotta say, I was really impressed by it. Now, of course, this one was released in 2019, so it's out for over 4 years. But to me, it is brand new. I only discovered it like a couple of months ago. But when I discovered Magoria, I don't know if that's the Dutch way to say it, Magoria, and the English way to say it, I also saw that he was working on a new album. And that one was released at the beginning of March, Hollingsworth Mansion. Again, another rock opera. And I gotta say, I love rock operas. And again, I was really curious about this one. I believe I listened to one track they posted out as a video on their channel, and I was like, all right, this sounds really good. But based on this one, I decided this was a must-have purchase. This was a blind purchase. I didn't need to hear anything more. I knew this was going to be really awesome. So I bought it. I bought it very recently. I was planning on going to the album presentation at Bibelot on March the 30th because I really wanted to go there and see they were playing the entire thing on stage with the whole cast and everything. But unfortunately, I hurt my back a couple of weeks ago and I couldn't make it. So that was real sad. So I bought the album, unfortunately, online. I would have preferred to go to a brick and mortar store. I would have preferred to buy it from the band themselves, but at that time they didn't have it on sale on their own website yet. They do have now. So I can already encourage you, go to the website and buy this album because it is really, really, really good. I would say this is an absolute masterpiece. The way it is composed, the way it is recorded, the musicians, the singers, everything is so amazing about this. I'm really excited about this album. Before I put on the camera, I just played it. I had the house to myself. I put the volume way up. Wow, that is incredible. Again, this comes in a beautiful slipcase. Now, first, there's the cast on this is JTR, the first one. I want to go through the musicians first. We'll go to the singers after that. But the musicians, we have, of course, Mark Bogert, who wrote pretty much the entire thing. Same goes for Hollingsworth Mansion. Wow, incredible. He plays, of course, guitars. Koen Stam doing synthesizers. We have Peter Vink on bass. Harmen Kieboom on drums. Clem Determeijer on piano. And Matthijs Kieboom orchestral arrangements. That is pretty much the exact cast in musicians you also find on Hollingsworth Mansion, with two exceptions. There are two other musicians on it, and therefore I have to take out the booklet from this one, because, well, here you have a picture of the entire cast of this beautiful rock opera. Remy Hansen doing a guitar solo on track 13, and we have Derek Sherinian do a synth solo on track number 9. Hollingsworth Mansion is, just like Jack the Ripper, a bit of a horror story. It involves ghosts in this particular album. There's another link between them, except for the horror setting. Also, 1888, Jack the Ripper, and in this album, Hollingsworth Mansion, 1808 plays an important part because it deals with Hollingsworth Mansion, of course, which was built in the 1600s, but in 1808 something terrible happened. The mansion burned down, and the inhabitants of that mansion, the Hollingsworth family, they perished in the fire. So this story picks up when a new family starts to live in that mansion. There have been people before that, but they've only lived there for a short while. You start to wonder why, of course. But then when you listen to how the story is brought, you see that this new family, the Wellborns, they live there. There's a servant living there as well. It seems that that servant has been with that mansion forever. Again, this mysterious, spooky element in it. But along the way, you discover, when you listen to the story, you discover that the family that perished, the husband and wife, they never had any children, and they really wanted to have children. And the family that moves in, they have a 9-year-old daughter. So you start to see where that story is going. And that is really amazing. And the way they bring it, it is so incredible. I'm going to go into the some tracks a little bit more. But first, the vocal cast. Maria Katharina as Lavinia Eden Hollingsworth. Rodney Blaze as Jefferson Hollingsworth. And Miriam van Doorn as Elizabeth Hollingsworth. Jan Willem Ketelaars. He's also been the vocalist of Night Area for a period. He does Howard Wellborn. Nadine Pruim, the wife of Mark Bogert. She is Dolores Wellborn, and we have Demi Oosterwal as the daughter Joanne Wellborn. Edward Rakers from Kayak as William Harris. And then we have Inge Ranja as Selina Blackaby. That is the servant that is part of that household. We also have a choir, and like I said, we have orchestrations in it, and altogether they bring a really beautiful story here. I made some notes because there's so much to say about this album. I could really go into every song, but as a whole, it sounds like a really beautiful, consistent piece. When you start the album, the first track, The Haunted Mansion, kind of sets the tone. It kind of brings that haunted experience. First you have these keyboards by Koen Stam, then the guitar comes in with more of the band, and then you go into this calm piano by Clem Determeijer. It's a really beautiful way to set the mood for the story that is coming. When we go to the second track, when I just listened to it, it's like, this is more like a prog metal song. The music ranges from really calm acoustics to really heavy guitars, like almost prog metal, and everything in between you find on this album. The third track, there we get that real rock opera feeling, because there the orchestrations come in, the choir comes in, and it really works. It really, when I was listening to it, it was like, wow, this is so amazing. And I gotta say, the guitars are really fantastic in here, but every musician, every singer really brings their A game, and they make this album so incredible. So that's why it is really awesome to listen to the album. What I noticed at track number 4, I found very interesting, and they do that in a few other tracks as well. You really have these modern sounding synth sounds by Koen Stam, and then you move into the rock opera sound. You get the guitars, you get the drums, you get the bass, you get everything, which is really great. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Arjen, these modern synth sounds in it. I love that very much. Track number 6 is a real standout track. It's a more acoustic track. It's a very emotional song sung by Nadine Pruim and Edward Rakers. And we have this piano accompaniment by Clem Determeijer along with it. Wow, really, really beautiful song. There's one more of these beautiful duets in it later on the album. Track 7 has a little bit of a different take on it, because throughout the album there's no narrator. Also on Jack the Ripper there's no narrator, which I kind of welcome, because in a way it's nice, but when you listen repeatedly to the album, a narrator kind of gets a little bit annoying. So they don't have it, but in track number 7 they do have some narration. With these beautiful heavy orchestrations along with it, and that sounds really great. Track number 9, that is again a beautiful duet. This time Nadine Pruim does a duet with Rodney Blaze, well, most of the song at least, and again this one, it's not piano, but it's more orchestrations to go along with it, but really beautiful. And one of the other tracks that really stand out, that's the penultimate track, the track number 14, that is pretty much the grand finale. The entire cast comes in and you know, shines one last time in this beautiful rock opera, and then we have the last track, the Postludium, which is an instrumental track, which if it were a movie, that was the part where I would see the end credits rolling. So it's from start to finish. It is like you are watching and listening to a movie. That would have been a nice movie, by the way. So it is really an incredible work. And like I said, Mark Bogert is a phenomenal guitar player. He was recently voted as best guitar player, I believe, from the Netherlands, from the Benelux, even best metal guitar player from the Netherlands or the Benelux. I'm not sure about these, but anyway, that's really awesome, and it's well deserved, because he is not just an amazing guitar player, he is also an amazing composer. And that is something that I really, that really blew me away with these two albums, with these two beautiful rock operas, JTR 1888. If, like me, you are not familiar with it, well, I am now, but of course, but I wasn't until recently, I can only encourage you, listen to these albums. Well, buy them, because you will not be disappointed. They are really incredible. But if we focus just on the last one, Hollingsworth Mansion, it is a masterpiece. I can only repeat that. You really need to have it. You will listen to it. It will captivate you. It will sweep you away and give you 66 minutes of musical delight, musical pleasure. You will enjoy it and you will play it again. I can promise you that, because it is that good. So run to your favorite music store, or better yet, order this one from the band, because this one unfortunately is very hard to get. It's been sold out. It was a real challenge for me to find it. I'm really happy I got a copy, but this one is still available. You can buy it directly from the band. I encourage you to do that. Buy it from the band. And if you have listened to either of these two, let me know what you think of it. Let me know what your favorite part is. If you were at the show on March the 30th, let me know what you thought of the show. Fortunately, they're going to do more shows in 2024, so I'm really going to look forward to visiting at least one of them to make sure I get to see this on stage as well, because I think it will be phenomenal. That's it for me. Magoria, Hollingsworth Mansion, and JTR 88, Jack the Ripper, a rock opera. Enjoy the music. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys in a new video.